Hello friends, let us start with eligibility for taking ITC, which is given under section 16 and subsection 1. There are 2 points which are given for the eligibility purposes. Do not call these as conditions. Conditions we have given separately. Then there are 2 points. The first point is registration under GST is required. Registration of both the parties. See this chart. Registration of both party is required. And the second point is goods or services must be used or intended to be used in the course of furtherance of business. If these goods or services are not used in the course of furtherance of business, then ITC is not available. It is given in the eligibility part only. Right? Now let us go to the conditions. Subsection 2 says these conditions. There are 4 points given in the condition. The first point, the person must possess valid document. Second point, must furnish valid return within the due date. Third point, the person must have paid the taxes to the government. And fourth point is the goods must have actually received or services must have actually received. Now what are these? We will see one by one. Must possess valid document. Now the person who is claiming ITC must have valid document, like tax invoice or debit note in case of forward charge. Tax invoice, as you know, it looks like this, and this is the standard tax invoice which has almost every detail. Like we have suppliers details and recipients details, and their GST IN number is also given over here, right? The date of invoice is also given, proper invoice number is also given, right? And there are some details of the goods or services supplied. HSN SSE codes are given, quantity, rate and total amount is also given, taxes paid which is also given, and then the total amount, right? Authorized signatory, signatures are signature is not there, but because this is the computer generated invoice, after getting print of this invoice, the seller will seal this, right? So this is the standard invoice for forward charges, right? Standard invoice is required. In case of reverse charge, self invoice is also fine, or any invoice which is issued by the recipient is also fine in case of reverse charge. And then bill of entry in case of imports, bill of entry is given by the customs department. And then in case of input service distributors, any tax paying invoice is also fine, right? So if you are the student of CA final, CS final, or PG student who is learning taxation, for them this input service distributor is taught in detail. But at the degree level, PG degree level, UG level, or CA inter, CS inter, input service distributor is not discussed in detail, right? So this is the first point. Second point is that the person must furnish valid return with the due date. GSTR 3B by recipient must be given, and GSTR 1 by the supplier. It means that both of these persons, the recipient and the supplier, must have filed their returns, right? And supplier must have paid the taxes. Recipient must have paid for the goods as well as for the taxes, right? GSTR 1 is outward supply, GSTR 2 is inward supply, GSTR 3B is the summary of these two, right? And then the fourth point is the person must have actually received the goods or services. It means, consider the last point, this point, wherever the goods are sent or transferred in the batches, the last lot must have been received by the recipient. If the goods are in transit, then ITC is not available. Understand this point, right? So in case of bill to ship to transactions, because we are billing to someone else and shipping to someone else, the deemed receipt in case of bill to ship to transaction is also fine to avail ITC. These many documents are required, friends. There are 4 points given, and these are the conditions actually to avail the ITC, right? So far we have seen that there are two conditions. sorry, 2 points for the eligibility, that the both person must be registered and the goods or services must be used or intended to be used. Intended means in the future tense, intended to be used in the course of furtherance of business. Only in such cases you are eligible to take ITC, and in this case there are 4 conditions given. All these 4 conditions must be satisfied, all, right? We'll go ahead. There are some important points. First point, I have told you ITC can be availed after receiving last lot, right? And in case of capital goods, right, if ITC is claimed on depreciation part, ITC cannot be claimed. This is given under section 16 subsection 3. You will get all the notes, and in the notes I have discussed this in the detail, right? If you just read it, you will understand. And then in case of input goods also, ITC cannot be claimed on GST paid part. If you have not understood these 2 points, consider this example. If raw material purchased costing rupees 5000 and GST paid is rupees 500, the total will be 5500, and therefore ITC cannot be claimed on full 5500. It can be only claimed on 5000 rupees, right? If you have not understood, please pause the video and read it again. Look at this. This is the part of the good and this is the part of taxes. Total 5500, you cannot use this for the ITC. ITC is not available on 5500. You will have ITC only on 5000 rupees. Hope you are understanding this part, right? Similarly, in depreciation part also, if you are purchasing capital goods, while purchasing capital goods, there also you have paid taxes, right? So if you capitalize that along with the taxes, then yes, ITC is not available, right? Please note that ITC is only available on the proportion of goods actually used in the business. Now let me tell you about the time limit. This is very important in ITC, because if you cross the time limit, you will not get the input tax credit. Time limit to avail ITC for a given financial year is this: 20th October of next year or filing of annual return, whichever is earlier. How will you understand this? See, financial year, when does it end? It ends on 31st March. So any transaction you do in that financial year, right, you will have some invoices, right? And for that invoice, you will get the ITC only till the September. You have the 6 months time limit. So count 6 months from the March, right? April, May, June, July, August and September. So these are the 6 months, and for the month of September, what is the time limit? It is the 20th of October. Then 20th of the next month will be the time limit, and that is how we have got this 20th of October of next year, or filing of annual return. So if you file annual return earlier for that financial year, then that will be your time limit to avail the ITC, whichever is earlier they have said, right? Hope you have understood this point. There is an exception to time limit given above. What is that exception? Whenever a person applies for re-availment of ITC which is reversed earlier. Now what do you mean by this re-availment of ITC? We will speak about this in section 17, which is the appropriation of ITC, right? We will see it later. Just postpone or skip this point, re-availment. There are some other points. ITC documents essentially to be uploaded to GSTR1 to avail ITC on it. I have told you this point. Both the parties must have filed their returns. Example is given: tax invoice of rupees 1 lakh needed to be uploaded to GST website filed under the GSTR1. Only then of rupees 1 lakh is made available to the supplier. I will repeat this. Tax invoice of 1 lakh need to be uploaded to GST website filed under GSTR1. GSTR1 is outward supply, right? So if you have any tax invoice of rupees 1 lakh, that tax invoice must be uploaded to the GST website. Only then ITC on this 1 lakh is available available to the supplier, right? Second point, ITC can also be availed where the invoices are available. See, the same point I have mentioned it here. I will change the small point here, where invoices are unavailable given conditions. I cannot put the space because recording is going on here. There are some conditions. The condition is you can avail the 20% on such ITC where you have not uploaded the invoice, right? So ITC is not available for the following persons: unregistered person, they are not eligible, obviously. Exempt goods, exempt GST suppliers, yes. Exempt GST, if you are supplying any exempted goods, ITC is not available because that should be the taxable supply, right? Blocked credits under section 17 subsection 5. So this section says that even if you are making supplies for the business purpose, and even if the supplies are made by the recipient purpose, registered persons, no, the ITC is not available, right? Hope this is clear. Other important points, this is the last slide. The tax invoice must be given in the prescribed form as given in section 31 and rule 46. Section 31 tells you about the tax invoice, right? At least these following details must be present. If you cannot prepare as per the prescription, at least these 5 points have to be satisfied. What is that? GSTIN of both the parties must be there in the ITC invoices or tax invoices, let us say. Transaction details must be given, quantity and name of the good must be given, right? And then place of supply has to be given, total value of supply has to be given, and GST paid, right? Why place of supply is required? It is to understand, it is to know if it is an intrastate transaction or interstate transaction, because the GST changes. For intrastate it is CGST, SGST, and for interstate it is IGST. Therefore place of supply is really very important. And then rule 37 specifies that recipient must pay amount plus taxes within 180 days from the date of the invoice. If recipient is not paying within 180 days, that is 6 months, within 6 months if recipient is not paying amount plus taxes, then all the ITC which was availed by the supplier have to be reversed by the supplier. Reversal of ITC means the credit which you have taken from the government will be given it back to the government. Okay, you are not taking that input tax credit. This is the meaning of ITC reversal. Further, if the recipient files his return after the ITC was reversed by the supplier, ITC can be re-availed in the future and bears no time limit. What do you mean by this? I will tell you. See, if the recipient files his return after the ITC was reversed, after this 180 days, if the recipient is paying taxes, or if he is filing returns after 180 days, the ITC which has been reversed by the supplier to the government, and it can be taken back by the supplier. This is the meaning of ITC re-availment, right? And to take it back there is no time limit, right? ITC re-availment. So this is the point we have. These are the points that we have seen: section 16 subsection 1, subsection 2, and subsection 3 and 4. We have finished these many things. In the next video we will start with the section 17, that is apportionment of ITC, right? See you next video. In case of any doubts and clarifications, please comment below. Thank you.